Hi, everybody. This is Tia Bottom with Time Marker Photography. I am the creator of Empowering Time Markers, excuse me, Facebook group where I do weekly interviews and spotlight amazing women. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. My website is timemarker.photography, and I'm soon to be a published writer. And you can find that stuff under Tia's Crazy Life on Instagram and Facebook. I am so excited to have Shannon Crotty, the founder and CEO of Polka Powerhouse. Welcome. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Welcome. Welcome to you. Welcome to my space too. This is such an honor. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you. So first question is, tell me about your business and how it all started and just about you.
So I am a actor. Maybe that's why people start companies, right? That moved from one part of the country to another part of the country for a man and got completely disconnected. And in the process, my sister who had passed sent me the name Polka Powerhouse. And I wound up starting a group that looked like an immediate failure. Is now in about 78 locations in the US and Canada. We are a connection company and we connect positive women to build relationships, to push each other, to support each other. And the mission of the company is to connect the millions of women who need sisterhood to sisterhood. But my mission with the company is to have people have that relationship like I had with my sister, of being so seen, accepted, appreciated, that anything is possible for you.
Yeah, and her
and I have a sister. I have a picture of my sister. There's my sister Tina. So she passed. It was 10 years ago, February, but she sent me so many amazing sisters through Polka Dot. It's been amazing.
It makes me want to tear up. I just love it. I love when I hear you talk about her. So what is one thing you do every day, personal or business, that you have to do every day?
Every day I exercise. That's something actually that's new for me for 2020. It's like a dedication for 2020. I exercise, but then also I meditate every day.
Oh, I love that. Do you use a special program or?
No, and for all of you thinking, oh, meditate, I tried that for 2 minutes and that didn't work. It took me, because what happened, people be like, think about the color gray, gray, gray. Okay, gray. Is that gray or is that blue? What's for dinner? You know, like my mind would start to shoot. It took me like 2 years to be able to get 15 minutes quiet in my head, because you and I've talked about this. I'm a visionary, which means I have 100 tabs open all the time, which I think most women do anyway. And so it took me a long time. So if you're working on that practice, keep going, because it's not like you get it or you don't get it. It's a muscle that you build. But it's one of the only times that my brain is quiet.
Yeah.
And I do have to, pull it back, I got distracted again, and pull it back. But it is a time for me to show value for what's going on up here and what's going on in here. So
absolutely. I love it. I totally know what you're saying, because I had to take a 6-week course in mindful meditation and it took the full 6 weeks to just stop.
Right.
So
I can't do the guided, because then I get distracted by the beautiful voice, or what does she look like? Do you think she has long hair or short hair? Like, you give me the least amount to be distracted with and I'll be distracted. So it can't work that way.
Yeah, to me that means you have a healthy brain, right? It's just always working.
I'm winning.
So, what is your best or favorite organizational tool?
Ooh, that's a good one. I still am a paper and pen and highlighter planner person. I have some stuff digital, like with my assistant and stuff, but I still need to highlight and white out and make lists and all of that. And that's much easier done for me in with paper. So that is still one of my favorite organizational tools.
Like tangible, I can see.
Yeah, I can touch it. I can feel it. I can get anxiety over that color. And then I can white it out and redo it. Yeah.
That's funny. So do you have a team? I know you do, but
yeah. Well, yes. And to be honest, and I think if we're all honest with each other, and I know that we've talked about this because I met you in person, is we all suck at 97% of the things, and that is a gift. And so if you try to do it all yourself, you're going to crash and burn, or it's going to be all so-so. So definitely we have a team, because I'm really bad at most of the things, or I'm not very good at them. I'm only good at I'm only a genius in 3% of the things. So I'm a visionary, but I'm not a details person.
Yeah.
And so most of the people on our team are very heavy in details, because someone's got to balance me, because, crash and burn. But yes, we have a team, and we have such gifted people on our polka dot team. It's incredible.
Yeah, I believe it. I met with Mindy, and she's amazing.
She is.
So when or what was the pivotal moment in your business?
I was talking about this with a chapter the other day. There was so many of them,
Right.
but I think the biggest one was when I owned a women's magazine, and that's how I started Polka Dot, was under the women's magazine. And that women's magazine was my crutch. So as Polka Dot, after we did what looked like the crash and burn, and now we are starting to grow, and people were asking us to spread out, and that sounded too scary. Hell no, I'm not doing that. Oh, I can't. I have the magazine and I don't have the bandwidth. Oh yeah, we're just going to have to stay in our area, And then when a series of events happened that the magazine got sold, I wound up selling it, but not planning to really.
Right.
Then it was like, what am I going to do now? The crutch is gone. And now this excuse that I've been using forever is gone. And so it was that gift of 300 feet. You only have to see the next 300 feet, the distance of headlights. And you got to just trust, right? Like, you've survived 100% of your bad days so far, but I wasn't trained in what we started. I didn't have like a formal education in it. So I had so many of the fears, the great big hairy fears, that people were going to find out I didn't know what I was doing, that I was going to let a lot of people down. And so that was enough to stop me. But once that crutch got removed, I thought, well, I don't want to look bad now. I kind of have to keep moving. And that pushed me, and that pushed me there. And I think that if that hadn't happened, I would have used that as a crutch forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And the imposter syndrome, like all of those things, like really come up, and you have to face it. So I totally understand.
Well, I said this the other day, and people were laughing. I'm like, it's true. When we first started to grow, when we first started to spread out, I am Googling, what is a founder supposed to eat, and what are they supposed to say, and what are they supposed to wear? Because all the founders that I saw on social media and that kind of thing were like, like they came out of the womb perfect and perfectly looking perfect and acting perfect and saying the perfect thing. And I'm like, I'm just me, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be. Right. And it took me several years to realize that if you are given a dream, you are the person to do it. You're not going to be able to do it alone, because you're not good at most things, but you are the person to do it. And all you need to be is you, or you would not have been given. It would have been given to someone else if you weren't meant to do it as you. So that was a huge relief.
That is a perfect message for so many, because I hear that a lot. Like, they're like, well, this is what, I can't be that because I don't look like that. And I'm like, but you are that. Mm-hmm. It is you.
Right. And there's all kinds of people behind you that need that model of what that looks like, because they also don't fit the box of what we can typically taught something looks like. People need to be taught it's not always looking like a Christmas gift. It sometimes looks like a hot mess while it starts. And that's okay. And actually, that's how most things start. I love to read business biographies.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you learn, like, these companies that you're like, oh, that would be the life, right? Oh, they went through the years of muck, right? That's where they're not posted on social media, but that's where they get real. And so most companies, most visions, most businesses, most ideas start as a big pile of poo.
Right.
And eventually become something amazing, but they have to go through that process. They're just, you don't see it as much as you need to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I'm so glad that I asked that question. Do you have any advice on how to balance personal and business life? And explain that you have kids and stuff.
This is going to be unpopular, but I think balance is a myth. And I think the myth of balance keeps us feeling like failures. I absolutely do. Like, I don't know about you, but I've tried that for so many years. It's like, why do you keep doing something that doesn't work? I think it goes in chunks. Like, there's periods, not in the time that we're filming this in 2020, but there's periods where I have a lot of heavy travel. That's certainly a very slanted, not balanced situation. And then there's years like 2020 where I'm home a lot. That's also a seriously, slanted situation. I have grown kids, but one of them special needs. So I have people at home that need me. But I think it goes in chunks. You know, I'm very focused. I'm an ambivert, meaning I'm equal parts introvert and extrovert. I love what I do. I love what we're doing right now. I love visiting dots, but then I need equal, if not more, downtime so I can hear in a sea of voices and opinions and noise. I also need time to hear my own voice. And that is, you know, that's where the introvert kicks in. So like when I'm with dots and traveling, I'm very intentional and heavy handed in that. And then when I'm home, I'm home. Someone says, well, you know, like, what do you like to do when you're not traveling? Home. I'm home. I'm a homebody. I maybe go to the grocery store, but then I'm always like, I want to be home when I'm not traveling. Because again, that's that swing. But I think balance is a myth. And I think we got to let go of trying to achieve something that's unachievable.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to piggyback off that. And I totally agree with you. So to me, what balance means is knowing when to put higher intention into something and when not to. So to me, that's what that means. And you're describing it perfectly of what I like. That's how, but I can see how, like, when you say balance, people think that you have to have everything equally. That's not how that works, because when you have a newborn, it's very much different than when you have a 10-year-old with time and things like that. And
right. And when you have a business, or if you're a professional or whatever you're doing, there's times that that's getting all of your attention. So I totally agree with you on what your definition of balance is. Absolutely. It's just the mainstream, like,
exactly.
Hire me so you can get balance. Okay, well, I'll just throw money out the window then, because I just don't think that illusion of what we've been fed of balance is something that even exists. And just, I don't know, for me, it just helps me feel bad about myself to try to achieve that when it never works for me. I don't know, maybe the viewers here, maybe someone's got it going on and that person needs to write a book and have some things going, but it's never worked for me. And so I've stopped worrying about it.
I totally get that. And I love that. I'm just here to change the frame. Right?
Change the definition so that we can feel good about it. Yeah.
Right.
That would be amazing. Do that. Yes.
Okay. So what do you wish you knew at the start of your business or career?
I wish that and we kind of mentioned this earlier, but I wish that I had more confidence in the fact that I was given this mission and this vision for a reason. And that it wasn't by mistake, and it wasn't something, I was always trying to camouflage the fact, because I said this earlier, I was a person that owned a connection company that was a horrible connector. And so I'm like, oh, nobody better put that out. I don't, you know, over time with the Dot family, I have learned to connect and build closer relationships. But when we started, I was really bad. And so I was really, again, that imposter syndrome, really feeling like I had to be something else and do something else. And I think that created way more stress for me than I probably needed. And it pulled from momentum, because anytime your energy gets distracted, you're pulling from momentum. So I wish that I could go back and tell that younger self, whether she would have listened or not, I don't know. She's pretty stubborn. I don't know. She still is. Right. But I wish I could go back and say, look, it's going to be okay. You can trust the process and trust yourself. Yeah. And know that you're going to fall down a whole bunch, but that's okay. You get right back up again and you keep going.
Yeah. Trust in yourself. That's good. Yeah. And that's deep wisdom, you know, and it's hard to hear wisdom when you're young and like everything is.
So, I know. Yeah. And I was really focused when we started on, and I think this is like a common thing, but I wanted to know A to Z, what was going to happen, when was going to happen, how was it going to happen? Because as a visionary, I can see the end, or what I think the end is going to be, but all that middle stuff is what had me so stressed and worried and all those things. And it's like, you're not meant to know all that, or you would cut and run. Right. It'd be too scary. So be thankful that you don't know what's coming, because you'll have the muscles and tools for it when it shows up. And that's by design. You don't have it yet, so don't worry about it yet.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I think Oprah says, or someone's, I don't know who it is, and so forgive me if I'm quoting the wrong person. What's my next best decision? What's the next decision I need to make, and focus on that decision?
Yeah. It's almost like live right now.
Right. And live simply, right? Like it's I interviewed a Dot yesterday on my business page, and her advice was to constantly ask yourself, what do I want? And it was so profound, but so simple. What do I want? And okay, if I really want that, am I going to do the steps to do it? Or, okay, that's too hard. Just constantly finding what brings you joy, ease and flow is what she mentioned, by asking yourself what you want. How simple is that?
I'm going to put that on a Post-it note. Put
Right.
it on my desk, because that's
By the way, that was Tamara Hamilton, by the way, if you want to give the proper people proper credit. But it was so simple what she said, but I was interviewer and taking notes. I was like, hang on. Because it was like, yeah, sometimes we make it so big, and it's really so simple.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean easy, but it's simple.
Right. That's true. It's not always easy. And when you're in the itty bitty shitty committee, that's Nicole. When you're in the itty bitty shitty committee and it's having its session, it's not always easy to remember that advice that we should just ask ourselves what we want. But when you calm down, and that's one thing too, I've learned, sleep on everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm Irish, so I have a reaction like that, but that no, we're gonna sleep on this. So that's another one, is just sleep on it first.
Yes. I mean, you have tons of little nuggets of advice that I keep hearing, and I'm like, I need to write that down too. Like, because I've heard you say it before, and I'm like, I need to keep hearing that. So I love when you speak.
Girl, it's from trial by fire and going through it. That's for sure.
So what is the hardest part about your job?
Wow. The hardest part, I think about what we do, there's several challenging things, because people are like, oh, you run a meeting once a month. Yeah, there's a little bit more than that. The hardest thing about what we do is describing polka dot, because everybody that gets in says it's a feeling. Polka dot is a feeling of community, of acceptance, of all these things. But sometimes, when you can hold a lipstick and you can try it on, it's way easier to explain than when you're describing a feeling. So sometimes people are untrusting. Maybe they've gotten hooked up with a mean girls group, or, women can be rough on women sometimes. And so they have bad feelings of women coming together in groups, like, and it's like, just let the feeling come, get involved, be you, let us see you shine. And then they're like, yeah, I would not have believed it if I hadn't experienced it. But it's getting people to the point of trusting in a feeling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can totally see how that's, because I'm having the same issue too. When I describe it, I'm like, I have a family, like military family, and I'm outside of that. And that's why I was presented to this, and I was like, this is perfect. Let me go in there. And it's so much more than just having something in common. It's an amazing enigma of like women that they all think alike, but so different. It's so crazy. And I just love it.
I think too, our strength is in our differences, right? Because like I said, I stink at 97% of the things. So to learn from and grow from people who are different from me, from such a diverse group in every single way, like we all have things in common as women,
right? And
where we live and that kind of thing, that join us, that make us similar and that we can connect to. But it's within those differences that we really grow as people.
Yeah. I just had a thought, like, it reminds me of, it's women with purpose. Like, we know we have a purpose. Some of us might not know exactly what it is yet.
Right.
That's how I feel. Because like, that's what you exude, is purpose.
Yeah. I also think it's women who don't have time for the BS anymore.
Yeah, I do. Oh my gosh.
I'm so worried about growing my own grass. I can't take care of yours, right? And yeah. Women of boundaries and standards, and I don't have time for any of this BS.
Right.
We all overthink and stuff, but we do that real quickly and then we move on. It's just women that are at a different place in their life, where it's like, I want to be with women who get how important life is, what a gift life is, that find the positive in that, and will help me do the same and push me, support me, accept me. Because all that other stuff is just distraction, is just self-sabotage. And when you get to a point, you're like, I don't have time for it anymore.
Yeah.
I really find that really evident in our community, is that, I can't speak for 100% because right. We're like 3,500 members. And there's not like a screening process, like, are you mentally ready for this or not? But I find that most of the people that are attracted to us and stay within the community are women who are thinking on not a higher level, but they're just at a different place where, again, some of that, the BS that you come into contact with is no longer important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, it's hard to just sum it down into a sentence.
Yeah.
So yeah, the feeling is, oh my gosh.
Right.
That's, yeah, I don't even know what to say because I can't even help you. I'm like, yeah, that is the hard part. I can see that. So what's the easiest part about your job?
The easiest part is things like what we're doing right now, is connecting with members, is seeing their light shine, is sharing in that with them, is having conversation, is saying, I didn't know that. Like, I learn something new every time I talk to a dot. You know, if I'm open to it, there's days I'm not open to it, but if I'm open to it, I learn something new from every single person, and hopefully they learn from me too. And so that really makes it all worthwhile. You know, we all have those days that I don't care what you do, that you're in the bathroom going, I don't know about this. Like, whose idea was this? And am I the right person? And all those things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the fact that we're all growing together really, really makes it. And I think Tina was pretty smart, in what she sent me, because it really is making a difference, not only in other people's lives, but my life too.
Absolutely.
No.
I like hug you.
Little COVID hug right here.
So, first, I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I have one final question, sort of. It's like a bunch of questions all in one, but what would you like the ladies listening to know about you or your business, anything coming up, and how they can reach you?
I would like them to know that Polka Powerhouse is a global community, that as long as you come in and you put down yourself, business follows relationship. And so as long as you come in and put down your sales hat and decide that you're going to be involved in our community, it will transform you in ways you didn't, not that you need to change, like you're perfect as you are, but will transform things in ways that you didn't see needed to be or thought needed to be transformed. I know I hear that all the time. I hear people say, I didn't even know I liked women until I found this group. I'm like, that's really interesting. So it's a good group if you are at a point in your life where you're just very focused on what's important. And again, that white noise stuff is kind of not important to you at this time, because there's no gossip. It's not cliquey. There's none of that. And not that that's wrong. If that's what you like, then that's what you like, but it's just not, that would not be a good fit for us. So you would not enjoy it here. So it's at a point in your life, if you decided that I'm going to focus on what's important, I'm going to better myself, and I'm going to help other people in the process too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you so much.
And I adore you, and you are such a bright light that I am attracted to anything that you do now. So I'm just like, what is she doing now? That's awesome.
Girl, the feeling is mutual. I think what you're doing with the group is just so amazing, and I can't wait for you to get done with your certification and offer that service, because the world needs more good stuff. There's not, by the way, for anybody who thinks there's too much competition in this, there is not enough good stuff in the world. Like, absolutely. Your competition is you. So bring more good stuff. And you're doing that, Tia. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I will post links for Polka Dot Powerhouse to learn more about that. And I'll see you next week. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.